The Mediterranean is famous for its natural beauty, its rich cultural heritage, amazing cities, sun-kissed coastlines and delicious cuisine. And this region has been among the world's top tourist destinations for many, many years, and with very good reason. So this week on Planet Cruise Weekly, we're looking at our favourite 10 Mediterranean ports of call. Let's have a look at just how many companies actually cruise this area. Here we go. MSC, Marella, Costa, Norwegian Cruise Lines, Royal Caribbean, Celebrity, P&O, Seabourn, Azamara, Princess, Crystal, Viking, Pullmantur, Windstar, Ponant, Regent, Celestyal, Oceania, Cunard, Olsen, Seadream, Holland America, Silversea, Cruise and Maritime, Voyages to Antiquity, Star Clippers, Saga, Disney, Hapag-Lloyd, Club Med and Scenic. Now, if you haven't subscribed to Planet Cruise Weekly, why not? Make sure you do it ASAP. All you need to do is hit the button and then hit the bell, and that will tell you when we release new episodes. It's really simple. Ding, dong, done. Also, although we're choosing our favourite 10 destinations in the Mediterranean, as I mentioned, it's a big place, and our 10 might not be your 10. So do get in touch, do join the discussion, and let us know if you agree or you disagree. We don't mind, but we do love to hear from you. With the iconic Sagrada Familia Basilica looming over it, the Catalan capital boasts one of the most recognisable skylines in the world. And one of the nice things about Barcelona is that everything is in squares. And bear with me on this. As you can see in this photo, the streets are easy to get around as they're also organised in a kind of grid pattern, very much like the US, and perfect for those of us who are good with a map, which isn't necessarily all of us. Speak to my wife. Now, whether you're doing some shopping in Las Ramblas or checking out the monumental structure of the Nou Camp's Barcelona football stadium or admiring all the colours at Parc Güell, which is one of my favourites, there's plenty of variety to interest you when stopping in Barcelona during your cruise.
Barcelona is one of my favourite cities in Europe, and within that, the Boqueria market is a fabulous destination to go, where you can sample not only, of course, amazing tapas and paella, but a whole variety of seafood generally, like gambas, etc. And then once you've tasted all the splendid flavours that Boqueria market has to offer, a short cab ride will take you up to Parc Güell, where you're going to enjoy panoramic views of the city.
Now, the port itself, of course, is located at Civitavecchia. Different people disagree on how that's pronounced, but I am definitely convinced it is Civitavecchia. Rome is an ancient city. It's an exhilarating spectacle filled with an array of iconic treasures. The Colosseum, one of the new 7 wonders of the world, is of course an absolute must-see. To the west of the Colosseum is Vatican City, which is of course home to St. Peter's Square and the Basilica, and where the Pope regularly addresses the world. And of course Vatican City is home to the Sistine Chapel, known for those beautiful frescoes that adorn its interior, the most notable of which can be found on the ceiling and were painted by Michelangelo. Now, Rome's modern centre is also worth exploring, can be found to the north of the Colosseum, and it's here that you'll find many of the city's most recognisable piazzas, as well as the stunning Trevi Fountain. Now, my top tip for Rome is to go and spend some time walking around the beautiful gardens and park of Borghese. It's all part of what they call Villa Borghese. It's been there since around the 17th century. It's kind of got a slightly English style and feel to it, but very much Roman in its own way. Lots of statues, lots of beautiful gardens and paths to walk around. You'll find lots of Italian street entertainers there as well. There's even a replica of Shakespeare's Globe, which was put up, I believe, in 2003. It's a really nice alternative thing to do right in the centre of Rome.
It might sound quite cliche, but my highlight of Rome was definitely the Colosseum. I got to go up to the top tier and the views are just panoramic. It's amazing. Definitely would suggest going if you're heading to the city anyway.
Situated on the southern shores of the island of Mallorca, it's the capital of the island and it overlooks the crystal clear Mediterranean Ocean, and it's bursting with life. And of course it's famous for a spectacular neo-Gothic cathedral which kind of stands there and really dominates the skyline. Now you can take a stroll down towards the cathedral and then around through the labyrinth of old cobbled streets behind it, where you can really absorb the local culture and find the perfect place to sit and enjoy some delicious local delicacies. I recommend creme de Catalina. It's almost like a creme brulee, but flavoured with oranges, and it's absolutely delicious.
So when I went to Palma, I worked on the cruise ship, and it was just after I finished university. It was really nice. We had some food, had some nice wine in the plaza, and you could see the big cathedral and the church right next to where you're sitting in the plaza. And while I was actually sat there, I got to find out I actually passed my degree and I ended up getting a first. So it's a good place for some good memories for me.
Monaco next. Located on the sunny French Riviera, the Principality is famous for its dazzling harbour, incredible casino, which is very, very Bond, particularly when you see all the cars pulling up outside, lavish restaurants, of course the Royal Monarchy, which it shares with the UK, and the glamorous Monaco Grand Prix. Now, it may be the world's second smallest country after the Vatican, great quiz question, but it's definitely one of the world's most extravagant. And cruising into Monte Carlo is an experience in itself, so make sure when you do go, you have your cameras at the ready. The videos you're seeing on screen now were sent to us by one of our cruise specialists, Chris Wooten, who went to the Monaco Grand Prix with Planet Cruise. Now, if this looks like the perfect holiday for you, why not check out our deals for next year's Monaco Grand Prix in the description below. And of course, we here at Planet Cruise arrange everything from the tickets to the hotel stays and of course, your cruise.
So I've been fortunate enough to go to Monaco about 5 times, and people always think it's quite an expensive place to visit, but there are some things that I would recommend that you can do for free. The first one would be Le Jardin Japonais. So it's just down from the casino, and it's well signposted. Secondly, down by the marina, the area where the Jacques Cousteau Museum is and the palace. You do pay to get in the Oceanarium. However, strolling around there's some wonderful little shops and cafes, and of course the palace to have a look at.
The city that I visited more than any other in Italy, mainly because my sister lives there, so I'm quite lucky. Venice, the city of bridges, the city of romance, the city of, wow, so many different islands, and the city where actually getting lost is the best thing you can do sometimes, because you'll just find something that no one else has seen. And it's known, of course, for its Grand Canal and all the different canals. It's known for a great blend of museums and galleries that contain a mix of classic and modern artefacts. And it's got more masterpieces per square metre than any other city on Earth. Of course, most of you will want to try seeing Venice from the canals. Gondolas, of course, is what they're famous for. These can be quite expensive, but well worth doing. But if you want to travel around Venice, then definitely use the aquatic buses. They are the best and probably the cheapest and easiest way to get around this city. And then you can maybe do a gondola as a little bit of a treat. Other major landmarks that shouldn't be missed in Venice include the Basilica San Marco, which can be found in the Piazza San Marco or St Mark's Square. And perhaps this is the best place to start at the Gallery d'Accademia, which is one of the most prestigious art galleries in the world and contains pieces such as Leonardo da Vinci's Vitruvian Man and much, much more.
I went to Venice to visit some friends, so I recommend it when going on the gondola as well. And all the museums, the history, all the food was amazing. We did some of the trips around the city, walking. We did a lot of walking and really enjoyed getting lost in all the little path and everything. It looked like a maze, but it was really nice and very, very beautiful.
Next up, an entry which I think might be slightly contentious for some of you, but I will defend the choice. Lisbon, the wonderful Portuguese capital, that oh so very hilly city, which is defined as much by its topography and surroundings as it is by its rich heritage and the vibrant way of life. Now, a great place to head to if you want to learn more about the city and its history is Belém. It's a neighbourhood renowned for its history and for the vast array of significant monuments such as the Hieronymus Monastery, the Bellum Discovery Centre. Now if you've only got a short time to explore the city, make sure you hop on the famous number 28 tram, which passes by all of Lisbon's major cities, and that is a big tip. You must use the trams for exploring this city. If you walk, you'll be very tired very quickly, as it is very hilly, and the trams are an amazing way of getting around. Other insider tips include making sure you try some of those famous custard tarts that the Portuguese, and particularly Lisbon, is famous for, and if you can, go up and visit the famous Christ the King statue high above the southern banks. It's an incredible view. It's very similar to the Christ the Redeemer statue in Rio de Janeiro, and you'll see it as you cruise in and come into the big bridge. And another top tip is to be ready to watch when the cruise ship is sailing back out, because you will go under this huge bridge and you literally think it's going to take the roof off your cruise ship. But go out there and film it, which is what I always do when I'm up there, and you can literally just do that. It's an amazing experience, really is.
So I really enjoyed Lisbon, not just for the custard tarts, which are amazing, but when you sail in, the sun's rising behind these fantastic bridges, which is just really stunning. And then when you sail out, sipping your champagne at the party, all the bridges are lit up, which is just absolutely beautiful.
Athens. I don't think anyone's going to argue with us over this one, but maybe they will. Get in touch if you want to. Of course, it's both the epicentre of the ancient world and it's the birthplace of modern civilization, of democracy. Now, while its history stretches back thousands of years, it's actually possible to get to grips with the city in a single day, which is great news for anyone passing through on a Mediterranean cruise. The famous Acropolis, which overlooks the modern city, is, in my opinion and many others, the most important ancient site in the Western world. And it's here that you'll find the Parthenon, which was originally built as a temple to the Greek goddess Athena in the 5th century BC, and now stands there as this incredible testament to the power of the ancients and what they achieved with building. I mean, they built some things that we'd struggle to build these days. At the foot of the Acropolis is the museum. Inside you'll find an amazing array of artifacts and exhibits telling the story and the life of ancient Greece. And if you still want to learn more, you'll need to head to the National Archaeological Museum afterwards. Now, located near the Victoria Metro Station, it's an amazing exhibition centre, and it contains items dating back to the Neolithic and Classical periods, including a number of statues of gods like Zeus and Poseidon. One little tip for Athens is to head to the Dimitiki Agora, which is like the local market. It's a great food and beverage market, really, and a wonderful opportunity to see modern day Greek life and cuisine in a wonderful open setting. It's full of life, very vibrant, and a little bit off the traditional tourist pathway for Athens. So pop there.
One of the best tips I can give when travelling to Athens is that you don't have to wait around for ages to get your tickets to the Acropolis. The main ticket office is always really busy. There are smaller archaeological sites at the bottom of the hill. One of these is called Hadrian's Library. You can get your official Acropolis tickets at Hadrian's Library and avoid all the waiting around.
It's incredible. It's like out of a fairy tale, and it's so spectacular to sail up to, and it's got such a long and interesting history. The entire history is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and it's like strolling through the pages of the world's most picturesque history book. Now, you predominantly get this feeling from the city walls themselves, and then from walking inside the cobbled streets. It's a bit like Venice, but without the canals. Imagine all the canals replaced by cobbled streets, and you get the idea. And if you're a Game of Thrones fan, of course, you'll know this because it's where they filmed the scenes for King's Landing, and they've got tours to show you where particular scenes have been filmed. Things to do include taking the cable car up to the summit of Mount Sidri for some amazing views, and taking a closer look at some of the palaces and churches that can be found dotted around the city, like the Rector's Palace. In fact, again, it's a place where you can just wander off and get lost and just find some really beautiful streets and shops and little restaurants tucked away, which are totally incredible. Now, you could always choose to relax on one of the gorgeous beaches. You've got Lapad Beach and Lockram Island being some of the best places to catch rays. My top tip with this amazing city is actually on the wall that faces the water. which you'll see people canoeing round and swimming off. There are a couple of places where you can actually go out of the wall through these little gates, and then there's little restaurants that have been set up on the rocks at the bottom of the wall, and a lot of locals go and they dive off or they bathe from the rocks. And it's an amazing thing to do. It's really, really fun. I mean, okay, if you're physically challenged and you're not, you know, and anything like that, it's probably not the best place because it's, you know, it's a bit physically challenging to go around and walk up. But if you don't mind kind of making your way round, it's an incredible thing to do. Just to kind of almost come out of this huge medieval city and then look up at the walls and then look out at the Mediterranean and just see people swimming and jumping off and have something to eat. It's just absolutely magical.
Dubrovnik is a simply spectacular part of Croatia. I've been there on many occasions on the cruise ships, and my top tip to you would be to climb the city walls of the old town. Once you're up there, not only does history await you, but spectacular and breathtaking views of not just the city itself, but of the Adriatic Sea as well. One not to be missed.
Istanbul straddles, of course, the geographical boundary between Europe and Asia, the only city in the world to sit in two different continents. And the Turkish capital can make a pretty strong claim to being the centre of the universe, and has been for many thousands of years. It's a rich tapestry of sights, of sounds, of smells and stories. It's an incredible place to sail into because the skyline is so instantly recognisable. And most of the ancient structures and buildings are found in an area known as Sultan Mehmet, named after Sultan Ahmed of the Ottoman Empire. Perhaps the most famous of these is the enormous Blue Mosque, which was originally built as a basilica by the Romans. I start getting really excited when I talk about Istanbul because I could talk about it for days and days and days. I love it. You dock in the what's called the Golden Horn area, which is just off the Bosphorus. You're literally facing the European area of Istanbul and the oldest area where most of the history and those incredible buildings that we hear about are, including the Blue Mosque that we talked about, including the Hagia Sophia, the first ever Christian cathedral. Over the water back the other way is the famous barracks where Florence Nightingale made her name as Lady of the Lamp during the Crimean War. But you've also got some more off the beaten tracks. Yes, you want to go and head to the Grand Souk where you can shop and you can see the thousands of stalls and the wonderful feeling of being amongst these lamps and carpets and suits. I had all my suits made in Istanbul. Brilliant, very cheap, very, very straightforward to do and great, great quality. But I'm going to give you one big tip and stop waffling. It's this, the Basilica Cistern, the ancient Roman aqueducts that you can pop down, you can see they featured in one of the James Bond films as well. Can never remember which one, but get in touch and comment if you can. And it's an incredible feeling going down and seeing this ancient world that was built by the Romans that sits under Istanbul. Really great thing to do. Of course, Turkish food is there, so you can find loads of great restaurants, loads of great fish that's brought straight out of the Bosphorus. Lovely, lovely calamari, try it there, but also it's the home of the traditional doner kebab, and all you need is the doner meat, some of their lovely spices, and one of those beautiful durum wraps.
Well, when I went to Istanbul, the best things about it was the atmosphere, the Blue Mosque. Inside the Blue Mosque is amazing. You must go, you must, and don't be worried about taking your shoes off, no one pinches them. They're always there on the way back. Also, you've got the markets where you can go, you've got the leathers, the smells. It's just a place where you people watch. It's amazing. You must go to Istanbul.
We found a place in our top 10 for Gibraltar. And yes, it may not be the most glamorous of places in comparison with some of the others on this list, but it does appear on many Mediterranean cruise itineraries, and it's not just because it sits on the straits and it's easy to get to, and it's not just because it's very good for duty free. It's actually an incredible slice of history and a very unusual place to go and visit, and very unique in lots and lots of quite unusual ways. And when visiting this region, you can see evidence of its important history with the castle walls, the tunnels that are built into the rock, and this wonderful culture which is a mix of Spanish and British heritage. Now there are all sorts of fantastic things to do here, whether offshore with the dolphins or on land taking on the huge rock with those cheeky Barbary apes. Or if you opt for the latter, I suggest taking a taxi or cable car. And my tip for Gibraltar is this: don't just get the taxi buses that come into the port. They charge you more walk outside of the port. If you can, walk into town. It's only about a 25-minute walk, but if you just walk outside of the port, there are other places to get taxis and you'll get them cheaper and for better value. And the best thing to do is team up with a group of you. So maybe 6 or 7 or 8 of you, team up and then barter. They will let you barter. Don't take the first price offered.
An absolute must do in Gibraltar is go up the rock. When I went there, I made a point of making sure I went up on one of the taxi tours that you can do locally. You can also go inside the rock in the tunnels, or if you want some cheap booze, Gibraltar is great for some tax-free shopping.
So that's our 10 favourite destinations in the Mediterranean. Now we do know that you might have a different list and you probably have different things to see in these cities as well. So again, please let us know, get involved in the discussion, comment below and tell us what your favourite 10 destinations are in the Mediterranean and why. We do love to hear from you. Thanks very much for watching. This has been Planet Cruise Weekly. Don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to hit the bell button so we can tell you when we've got more exciting episodes and footage coming your way. I'm Keith Maynard. Thank you very much for watching. We'll speak again soon. Hi everyone, thanks very much for watching the video. Please don't forget to comment and subscribe below, and remember to click the bell to get those notifications turned on. And if you're looking for more fantastic travel content like this, then click on the videos to the right. It will be really, really informative. Or you can click on the Planet logo to the left and go to our website for some really fantastic deals. Thanks for watching.